This program is brought to you by the City of Oceanside. The following program does not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or policies of the City of Oceanside, its elected officials, KOCT, its board of directors, or staff. This program is underwritten in part by Waste Management of North County in Oceanside. We are dedicated to serving customers and community as a safe, comprehensive service provider, a good corporate citizen, and a responsible environmental steward. Think green. Think Waste Management.
I'm CJ Demento, your local librarian from the Oceanside Public Library and city staff for the Oceanside Arts Commission. I am pleased to welcome you to the October edition of Oceanside Spectrum, an edition with a varied group of nonprofits doing amazing work in North County for you to learn about today. First, we have Leah Watson, founder and president of Girls Rising Above Exploitation, with us today. They're a group that fights human trafficking and have amazing programs for youth. Next, Kathy Nichol will be on the KOCT soundstage with an update on the downtown markets, the Oceanside Strong campaign, and the upcoming Shop Local initiative. Colleen O'Hara with the Women's Resource Center and founder is here, and we're helping her celebrate 40 years of saving lives at this amazing community shelter. And for our last guest, we have Zeb Navarro, Oceanside City Clerk, to talk about major changes in our election this year, so you're informed on when and where to vote. So stay tuned, because Oceanside Spectrum starts now. And we're here with our first guest. Leah Watson is here today to talk about her organization, GRACE, Girls Rising Above Child Exploitation, whose mission is to support, empower, and provide services to victims of child exploitation and at-risk youth. Welcome, Leah.
Hi.
Nice to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us about GRACE, would you please?
Absolutely. GRACE stands for Girls Rising Above Child Exploitation. And we serve victims of child trafficking, exploitation, at-risk youth here in San Diego, ages 12 to 21.
Okay. All right. So we had a guest on last month who also focused on exploitation. So this obviously is a very widespread thing. Can you tell us, how widespread is it? What do people need to know?
Yeah, it's a global problem, but more importantly, it's happening right here in San Diego. And a lot of San Diego's natives just don't realize that it's happening here. They think it's an overseas problem, like they don't have to worry about it, but it's actually happening in our own backyards. In 2016, they did a study. It was an $810 million industry just in San Diego County alone, and it's been growing ever since. So it's a big problem here. The average age of entry only 16 years old. It's affecting almost every single school in the county.
Wow. But that's where GRACE comes in.
Yes.
Right? So I know you have a new program that you're starting up, GRACE Adventures.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, and then we want to hear about all your other programs as well.
GRACE Adventures has kind of changed for us since COVID. Before, we used to take our youth on field trips, and right now we're not able to do that. So we're trying to implement a new version of GRACE Adventures, and it's more like pro-social activities. So if the youth want to learn how to swim or skateboard or learn to play the violin, we help match them with sponsors so they can do those pro-social activities and get them into good programs that support positive, healthy relationships and great activities. Today we just had a request for a girl who wants to do volleyball, and so she wants support so that she can do her volleyball league.
Wow, that's wonderful. So you match a supporter with the child that wants to learn a new skill.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Great. So tell me about some of your other programs. I know you have a whole list of things that you do, and you support, students, and you support tutoring. Tell us some more.
Yeah, so we're a support organization, so we're here to meet the youth where they're at. So if they're in another program or not in any program at all, we're here to provide different services to them. One of our more popular ones is our GRACE Creatives session, so they get to come do therapeutic art, and sometimes we have guest artists come in and teach them a new design or activity or painting or something like that, just different crafts that are therapeutic During COVID, we've switched to virtual crafts. We've cracked little art kits, and they get to, do their little craft, and we host a YouTube session, and then we also do a virtual online live Zoom with them so that we get to still interact with them with the Grace Creatives program. We also have Grace Closet, so they get to come in quarterly, and it's like a free shopping event to them. So we collect donations throughout the months, and then we set them all up, and the youth get to come in and just shop for the day. Then we also have Grace Meals, so for our youth that have food insecurity, we'll either provide them home cooked meals, or right now we're providing groceries. Grace University is our educational piece, so we collected school supplies for them. We're offering tutoring, and we hope to continue to advance that for job preparation as well.
Wow. So really, sort of practical things, and then some more artistic and experiential things for
the therapeutic element
for the kids. Wonderful. So you have your Grace 2020 campaign, and you have something with us with here that you wanted to show us today. And tell us a little bit about that fundraising and what these are.
Sure, these are the handcrafted puzzle pieces. They're actually little magnets, and if you sign up to be a supporter, a monthly supporter for Grace 2020, it's $20 a month for 20 months, and you'll actually receive one of these little handcrafted puzzle pieces from our youth. And so that's just one way that you can support us.
Wonderful. So if people want to find out more about your organization, what do you want them to do?
Yeah, we have our website, www.girlsrisingabove.org. We're really active on social media, so you can always follow along on our Instagram or our Facebook, and we keep posts going on right then. We actually have an event coming up on December 1st on Giving Tuesday. It's going to be a virtual fundraiser, and so we'll have that posted on our social media here soon.
Okay, yeah, that'll be coming up before we know it.
Yes.
I love it. All right, well, thank you so much, Leah, for being here with us today and doing so much that you do with Grace and all of the amazing programs that you're offering for young people.
Thank you.
Thanks, great to meet you.
You as well.
And we'll be right back with our next guest.
Son, love is like the ocean. You have to tread the waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Jessica, will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
And we're back with Kathy Nichol on the KOCT soundstage with an update on the downtown markets, the Oceanside Strong campaign, and the upcoming Shop Local initiative. Kathy, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Anybody who has watched this show once has seen you, and you are an amazing, Main Street representative.
Thank you.
And such a great proponent for wonderful activities in downtown and throughout Oceanside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so this year, things look a little different, right?
Absolutely.
And some of those activities are not happening. So tell us a little bit first about what's not happening, and then I know you have a lot of great stuff going on, so we'll get to that.
This year we will not have Taste of Oceanside, which is usually the first weekend in October.
Okay.
The Haunted Market, which is our Halloween at the Sunset Market, will not be happening this year. Right. And Dia de los Muertos was moving down for its 20th into downtown. That will not be happening this year. So those are the events that will not be happening.
Right. And the ones that are, so you're partnering for some great fall fun.
We are.
This year. Tell us about that.
Well, we're starting our Shop Local program, and part of that is to draw people to the downtown, just to even drive through and check it out, shop, you know, whether it's a pickup, takeout, or whatever. We're going to be partnering with OCNA and Friends of Oceanside Dia de los Muertos for a OCNA second annual Scarecrow contest, and this will be the first year for a Dia decorating contest for business and residents within the downtown area.
Okay.
And it'll be all on our website with prizes for first, second, and third for both residents and businesses.
Right.
We're also trying to start with our Shop Local program, doing grants with the city and several other organizations like the Chamber. And then we're also trying to do a coupon or special of the day or week with different businesses and try to publicize that for everybody to try to look that up. And we are about to start a hospitality seating alfresco dining area around the City Plaza fountain area with tables and chairs, that social distancing with an attendant, Monday through Friday, maybe more days, but right now it's Monday through Friday during the day until dusk. So we just want to make sure that, you know, we enjoy and people support the downtown, and we keep our businesses open, and that it's a great place to stay and live. It's paradise. We know that.
Yeah. So I want you to tell folks a little bit more about your Oceanside Strong campaign, because I'm really inspired by the work that you all are doing. I mean, you've been giving out small grants to local businesses and helping to keep them in business.
Correct.
You know, bring attention to them. Tell us a little bit more about that campaign and what that's been like and what it's brought to Oceanside.
So right after this COVID-19 closure happened, we went out to a lot of the businesses. We called them right away to find out who was open. We started an Oceanside Strong campaign to try to raise money for micro grants to benefit the businesses. We actually gave out 13 different micro grants, small amount of money, but all the money was raised through our community, which was amazing. And we continue to raise money to try to build our social media and information out to the public, again with our Shop Local program, with several different websites, Oceanside to Go, Shop Local Oceanside. Also, I mean, just there's so much we're trying to do and help these businesses, because our downtown, it's our heart. We love our downtown.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I know I'm going to shop local. I'm encouraging everyone else to do that. And when they are shopping downtown, say hello to Kathy Nykel.
That's right.
All right.
We also have everything is on our website, mainstreetoceanside.com. You can sign up for our email newsletters. Any of our specials will be on there, and on all of our websites, to include our contests.
Easy to find information.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Colleen O'Hara, Women's Resource Center founder, is here, and we're helping her to celebrate 40 years of saving lives at this amazing community shelter. Welcome.
Thank you.
I am so excited to have you here, because not only did you found the Women's Resource Center and the shelter, you were an Oceanside City Council member. You were just inducted into the San Diego County Women's Hall of Fame. It's amazing, truly amazing.
Quite an honor.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's well deserved. It's
Thank
well
you.
deserved. And we really want to hear from you today about your experience founding the Women's Resource Center here in Oceanside and the shelter 40 years ago. Can you tell us about that?
Well, the center opened actually 46 years ago. In 1974. It was founded by myself and 4 of my friends.
Wow.
It was one of those lessons of you better be careful what you ask for, because you might get it.
You might make it happen. Yes.
So we wrote a grant to the County of San Diego, and lo and behold, they funded it. So we opened the center. Our initial focus was working with rape victims.
I see.
But we soon expanded into child abuse services and working with victims of domestic violence. In 1980, we opened a crisis shelter where the women can come with their children and stay for a month while they escape from a violent situation, and that during that month they receive counseling services and some life skills and opportunity to decide what's next.
Right, absolutely. And at one point in time, you operated an underground shelter? Tell
We
us
did.
about
That was before we had the funds to open the emergency shelter. We had women showing up at the center who didn't have any place to go. They would have their children with them and whatever clothes they could carry. So we recruited several people in the community who were willing to take these women and their children in for a few days until we could figure out, you know, did they have family they could go stay with? Could we put them in a motel? And then what would be the next plan?
Right.
That was very generous on the part of those families in the community who volunteered to do that. But it created somewhat of a dangerous situation for them if the perpetrator tracked them down.
I see.
And it wasn't really adequate for the women and their children. So we went to the drawing board and created the emergency shelter.
Wow.
It's in Oceanside at an undisclosed location. We don't advertise it
Okay.
because these are the women who are afraid and they don't want to be found.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once they finish their program in the 30-day program, they have the opportunity to move into our transitional housing project,
Okay.
which is on Apple Street, and that's where our corporate headquarters are too. And they can stay there for up to 2 years, as long as they are working or going to school, so they become self-sufficient after a 2-year period.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing work. And you just had a recent event to celebrate 40 years, right?
We did.
Yeah.
We have an annual fundraising event we call Magical Evening. We've been doing it for almost 40 years now, I think.
Yeah.
And this year, because the shelter was opened 40 years ago, we're calling it 40 for 40.
40
We're
for 40.
encouraging people to give us $40 a month to celebrate the 40 years that our shelter has been open.
Yeah, yeah. And if people want to find out more information about that particular event, they can go to wrcsd.org/40for40.
Yes, it was recorded, and so it is available to the public. And of course, anyone who wants to donate is free to do that.
That's where you want them to go. Well, it's obviously a very, very worthwhile cause. If people want to find out more just about your general services or connect with you all, they can reach you at wrcsd.org.
That is right.
All right, all right. Colleen, such a pleasure to get a chance to talk with you today. And
Thank you.
I'm so grateful for all the work that you do in our community and that you have done for 40 years. So thank you for being here
Sure.
today.
My pleasure.
We'll be right back with our next guest.
This is the story of a boy who was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
And for our last guest, we have Zeb Navarro, Oceanside City Clerk, to talk about major changes in our election this year, so you're informed on when and where to vote. Hi, Zeb.
Hey,
Nice to have you here today.
great to be here on KOCT.
Talking about how important it is to vote.
It is very important.
Absolutely. So there are some changes that are happening this year. The physical polling locations are going to look different. Can you tell us a little bit about what to expect this year when we go out to vote?
There's going to be a lot less polling places this year. There's only going to be 14 polling places in Oceanside, and they're mostly going to be at schools throughout the city. And the reason for that is the ROV needs a space where people could social distance because of COVID-19. So your polling place that you probably voted 2 years ago, or even in the March election, is not going to be your same polling place for the November election.
Okay.
It's when you get your ballot in the mail, everyone's going to get a mail-in ballot, and you're going to see your polling place on that ballot. And you could either turn in your ballot there, or if you prefer to vote in person, you can request to vote in person, and they can print you up a ballot there on the spot, and you can vote just like you would at a normal election.
Okay. So the ballot drop-off locations this year, tell us where those are, what that looks like.
Yes, everyone's going to get a mail-in ballot. Some people are already mail-in voters, and they use the postal system, but because of some misinformation and misgivings about sending off your ballot by mail, some people prefer to drop them off or vote in person.
Yeah.
So the ROV is going to have 4 drop-off locations throughout the city. They're going to be the 2 branch libraries, the Civic Center and the Mission Branch Library.
Great.
The YMCA Youth and Family Services on Barnes Street and the Matino Family YMCA. And starting October 6th, you could go and drop off your ballot at any of those places. And that's just ballot drop-off only. There's no in-person voting.
And that starts October 6th.
October 6th, and they will be open the same hours as the places that the ballot drop-off is going to be located at, how long they're open. So call ahead, and if you don't know their hours, just call ahead and see when they're going to be closed and when they're going to be open.
Okay. All right. So from a historical perspective, when George Washington became president, I think 1789, only 6% of people were eligible to vote. So what is it like now, and why is it so important that we have that opportunity to vote and to take advantage of it?
Well, we certainly have a lot more people than from when Mr. President Washington was president eligible to vote. And it's very important for people to vote because this is the direction you want to take, not just the country, but the state as well as your city and your chance to vote on local city issues. We have several ballot measures on this ballot for this November, as well as some state propositions as well. And it's very important for people to vote because this is your voice to say, I agree with this or I don't agree with this. I agree with this candidate or I don't agree with that candidate. Yes. So it's very important that people exercise their right to vote.
Yes, absolutely. And if someone does send in their ballot, how can they track it? Can they find out where it's at, whether it's been received?
Yes, people could go to sdvote.com and click on Where's My Ballot? And it tracks your ballot just like you're tracking an Amazon package from when it leaves ROV to when it gets to your house, from when you deliver it back to the ROV and it gets back to the ROV. And you can track it every step of the way.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So if someone is not registered to vote, and we want everyone to register to vote, are they still able to do that?
Yes, they are. The deadline is October 19th to register online, and they could do so by going to sdvote.com. Okay.
All right. So we're encouraging people to do that. And Zeb, do you have anything else to share today about the election, the importance of getting out there and voting, whether it be in person at one of those polling places or through your mail-in ballot?
Just make sure you go out, vote, check your ballot, do some research. You could research the propositions online at sdvote.com. You could look at a roster of candidates at the city clerk's website, on the City of Oceanside's website. And something a little bit different this year, voting begins on Halloween. So from Halloween to Election Day is when the polls are going to be open.
Okay.
So that's something new this year.
That's a good way that we can remember to get out there and vote. So when it's Halloween, have that on your mind, go out and vote and make your voice heard. Right,
exactly.
Zeb?
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today.
It was great to be here.
Yeah. All right. And thank you for joining us on Oceanside Spectrum. We'll see you next time.
This program is brought to you by the City of Oceanside.